Okay, well, welcome back, JC. Nice to
Hi.
see you. Just as a reminder, I'm Chanel. I don't know if you remember my name or not. I know the last time I saw you, you got to do all that fun intake paperwork. I know it was a lot. Sorry about that. And also, you did the PTSD scale, which I'm going to have you do at the end of our treatment sessions together to kind of see if there was a change from when you started to where you ended. That's okay.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
And I know this is our first session with Biscuit.
Mhm.
And I know you got to spend about 15 minutes with him, just getting to know him and playing around with him. So how has your experience with animals been?
Um, Good. I've had when I was in captivity when I was abducted, I had a lot of engagement with animals. Involvement. I had cats, birds. So I felt like that was a level of comfort for me when I was with Philip.
Okay. So you had that level of comfort even with all that sounds like chaos and things. So how has it been sitting with Biscuit during these moments?
It's been fine.
Okay.
I'm actually kind of anxious about all of this, and
Sure.
just don't really know what to expect.
And I know last time we talked, when you were answering all those questions, you mentioned that talk therapy, where we're just talking, is not really your thing. And we also looked at things like the traditional prolonged exposure and the CBT, and it rang true with your connection with the animals.
Yes.
And I think that's why we chose the animal assisted prolonged exposure, because you have that option even with anxiety and the uncertainty to stroke Biscuit if you want to sit quietly with Biscuit and whatnot. So is that something that you're still okay with?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay. Well, that's something, and we're going to do about 10 sessions, and they're going to be about 90-minute sessions. So you'll definitely always have the option of having Biscuit here with you as we go through. Because there are going to be times as we experience things, Biscuit may get a little excited and do that, but we're going to be working on a couple of things. The first one is the imaginal exposure, where we're going to together imagine, where you're going to imagine in your mind kind of those moments. We're also going to do the in vivo exposure, excuse me, where you talk about those things that you're avoiding, those situations that kind of remind you about the trauma or may take you back there. So we're going to look at both those things, and we're going to have Biscuit there with us.
Okay.
Okay? So what are you thinking about that?
I'm thinking, like I said earlier, just a little anxious, but I do want to work through this process, especially what I've gone through, and never really had anybody to talk to about what happened to me and my feelings, and so this is a time that I feel like I can express what happened to me.
Right. And just so you know, as we do the imaginal and the in vivo exposures, your anxiety and the depression symptoms, they may rise because you're re-experiencing those things as you're talking about it, the smells, the sounds, those types of things. They're going to be real for you in your memory again, so those things may arise. So just so you know, that's coming. So as we talk about it, but as time goes on, you'll learn that memory is just a memory and it's not where you are in the present. And we'll work through that with the assistance of Biscuit. Okay? So we'll do that. Why do you think we use animals in therapy? What's the purpose, you think?
I think it's a way to, for me, I think I was so involved with animals when I was with Philip, and I think it's going to be a good thing for me because I really have an attachment to animals. Even before Philip took me, I had pets, and so I think it's a level, it's going to provide some security for me because
Definitely.
when I was would feel and there were times that they would give me animals and then they would take them away, and that caused me to be very, very upset. And so that's one memory that I have. And I just, even working with the animal, with Biscuit, I still feel some kind of, I don't know, sometimes maybe like it will be a loss, like it will be taken away.
Okay. Well, it's good to know that you have that anxiety up front that we can work through as well. One of the, and I'll come back to that, but one of the good things or the helpful things that research has found is that the animals actually help lower your stress and lower your heart rate, because these are some heavy materials that we're going to be talking about, and having the comfort of the dog there does some calming things to your body like that. They're also, like you said, a level of safety and protection. They have that calming factor there, and they also have been shown to help with the lack of social skills that some people may not have, especially if you've been away from people and I'm a new person and you're having to re-explain all these things that happen to you. Sometimes it may be easier to sit and explain it to Biscuit first before even talking to me, because he is not going to judge you. There's not going to be that language barrier. He's just going to be happy just that you're stroking his back and sitting there with him. So those are some good things too. And along with your anxiety about Biscuit being taken away, there are going to be times where Biscuit gets a little tired, where he may need to go into the corner and lay down, and that's okay. He just needs a minute to rest, and then he comes back over. So if he does that, don't think that he's rejecting you or he doesn't want to be with you. He's just like anybody else, like you or me. Sometimes he needs to rest too, so know that he doesn't do that. So I just want you to know that. Also, the other thing that's kind of a rule that we have with the animals is that there is a zero tolerance for animal abuse. You know, the animals, you can do what you need to do to calm yourself and he will respond, but you can't beat the dog, you know, pull the dog's tail where you're hurting the dog, kind of thing. Because if you do, then we would definitely have to stop it. But thankfully,
and that's something I would never do.
Good, because he has feelings even though he can't talk. We want to make sure that he's still feeling safe, just like we want to make sure you're feeling safe even as you're going through these moments. So just wanted to put that out there so that you know that as well. Okay? So you have any questions or things as what I've explained to you thus far about any of the topics?
No, it seemed like it's going to be a lot.
Okay.
A lot to work on, and I do have I feel like a lot to work on.
Okay.
And so I don't know what it's all about, but I want to work on getting past what has happened to me.
Okay. Is it okay if I try one quick thing with you as we get towards the end of our session? Okay. This is called breathing retraining. And this is something that I want you to really think about. I won't make you close your eyes unless you want to, but sometimes when we get anxious, our breathing changes and we breathe shallow. We don't take the time to breathe deep. And so what I want you to do is breathe normally. I want you to inhale normally. And then as you exhale, I want you to say a common word. Some people use like relax, some people use like calm, some people use safe. What do you think your word would be?
Calm.
Calm? Okay. So as you breathe normally, breathing in, and then as you exhale, I want you to say calm. Okay? And then we'll pause for about 4 seconds. Then I'll have you do it again. Breathing in, and then we're exhaling calm. Okay? One more time.
Calm.
Okay?
And this will help when I start thinking about those thoughts and
But before you even get to using it with the anxious, I want you to actually practice it every day.
Okay.
Because if you never practice it, then it will not be automatic when you're anxious to do it.
Mhm.
So if you could practice it probably about 10 to 15 cycles, and I'm going to give you this paper that just says the breathing retraining and what to do as a handout.
Okay.
And then you can practice it and how often, and then we'll circle the word calm since that's the one you chose,
Okay.
and then to have you practice it, okay?
Okay. Hi, JC. Glad to see you back. This is the second session. And I just wanted to just check in with you to see how you've been since our last session. And just to go over, you were given a homework exercise, which was the breathing retraining exercise. And so I just wanted to know, did you have to use that exercise, or how did it work for you?
Well, since we've been having a lot of discussions about, what happened to me, a lot of memories have been coming up and triggering me, and I have been able to use the worksheet that we gave me before.
And so were you able to practice using the breathing exercise? Remember last week we talked about the breathing retraining and you choosing a word that you felt comfortable using, and you chose the word calm. And 10 to 15 cycles at least 2 to 3 times a day. Did you find yourself having to do that exercise?
I did, and it was helpful when I remembered to use it. So really training myself to use the technique, but once I did use it, it was helpful.
Okay. And so this session, we are just really going to start talking about what happened to you and the assault that you went through and processing that. And one tool that we're going to use is called the Assault Information Health Inventory. And that is just really giving some information about the sexual assault that happened to you, and even talking about how things were for you before you were taken by Philip. So we're going to talk about that, but I also want to find out and just check in with you on how are you feeling about the sessions or the therapy so far?
It's been difficult. There are times when I get nervous when I have to go in public, just by simple things. I'm still getting used to being outside of where I was captive, and it's just been a challenge.
Yeah, and that's normal. That's to be expected. And before we leave, I want to give you some common reactions that goes along with the assessment that we're going to do, the assault assessment. But it has some common reactions like fear, guilt, misunderstandings, and that's just basically to help you understand those feelings that you're going through. And it's perfectly normal to feel that way. And so I just wanted to say that it's okay for you to have those feelings. How is it going with Biscuit?
Biscuit's been helpful to have Biscuit with me, and Biscuit helps me remind me where I am, that I'm not where I was. Sometimes when I get activated and I have some of the memories, that Biscuit's been there to remind me that I'm here, I'm safe, and to also breathe and be calm.
Yeah. And one thing I just want to say is that you have control over this process. And so you have to remember that you have control over this process. But let's begin a little with the inventory. And can you just begin to share a little about what happened to you?
How far back?
Well, let's talk about how were things before Philip kidnapped you. How was your family life before all of this happened? And your relationship with your mom and Carl, your stepfather?
Before, everything was great with my mom and I before Carl. I don't really think Carl liked me, just because he was really short with me, and, I don't know how he, or what he thought of me. I don't know if he thought, you know, bad things about me, or if he even loved me, or if he cared about me. He treated me differently than he treated my baby sister, Shayna, at the time. And I believe it was because she was his birth daughter and I wasn't.
And so, how did that make you feel?
I felt out of place, like I didn't belong.
And so, let's talk about those feelings, but let's talk about when you were with Philip. Did you feel some of the same feelings?
No, Philip made me feel like I belonged there. He needed my help. When he talked about a problem that he had that I was helping him with. So I felt like I had a purpose there with Philip. Even though, you know, what he did to me I didn't like, and I dreaded the runs that he had, but I feel like I had more of a purpose with him than I did with Carl.
And when you say runs, can you explain those runs?
Well, he would, you know, use drugs. I don't know what kind of drugs they were. I don't remember right now. And, you know, he would do things to me, sexual things, and I didn't like it.
And I could see you kind of moving around. How are you feeling talking about this?
Well, I'm thinking about the memories, and I'm thinking about what happened. So, and I feel a little anxious.
Anxious. And, you know, last week we talked about if you felt anxious to go back to the breathing exercise. And even if, you know, if we need to take a few minutes for you to even maybe stroke Biscuit for maybe 5 or 10 minutes to help calm those feelings. And so that's an option too. So anytime you feel like you're getting overwhelmed or anxious, you know, we can stop at any time and allow you to take a moment.
Will you do it with me?
Yes.
Okay, that'd be better.
Yeah. Do you need to take a moment to maybe rub Biscuit for a couple of minutes?
My stomach is so sore. I have so much nerves. Yes. I think I need a moment.
You think you need a moment?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm okay. How are you?
Good, thank you. I wanted to ask you and check in with you if there were any significant events since our last session.
No, just taking care of the girls and, you know, trying to get used to my day-to-day routine.
Okay, good. I wanted to just touch base with you as well. Last time we met, I gave you the sexual assault handout, right?
Yes.
Do you remember that?
I do.
Okay, and I just wanted to see if there are any issues with that. Did you have any response to that at all?
No, it was fine.
Okay.
It was fine.
Well, you know, there are some common reactions that I wanted to just let you know about to the handout in general. You know, some responses that people can have. They can have some flashbacks. They can have some anxiety. There's some people maybe become avoidant of certain triggers. So all of those things, I just wanted to also reconfirm with you that they are normal, and that if you have any of those symptoms, definitely feel free to come and talk to me. You know, use the coping skills that we've used so far.
The breathing.
The breathing, the calm.
Okay.
Right. And then we can use those to help yourself be, to calm yourself.
Okay.
I wanted to shift our sessions a little bit this time and talk about in vivo exposure. And let me explain, you may not know what that is.
I don't,
So I want to explain that to you. One of the things that is created when, in our brains basically, is that we have this fear, right? We have something that we're afraid of or we're avoiding, and what happens is we create this hierarchy, what we call the exposure hierarchy, and it starts with fear, and then we create an avoidance or something. There's a response to that fear topic or issue that's coming up for us, and then we make a habit of removing ourselves from the situation or avoiding the situation, or there's a physical distress response that occur in us.
I'm not sure if I completely understand. Can you give me like an example? Of
Sure.
what you mean?
So one of the things that we try to do with In Vivo is we try to expose you to confronting the fear. And what that does, so like in your example, right, you're in a different situation now that you're no longer in captivity with your captors and things like that. So a lot of these, a lot of things you're experiencing now is fairly new. And because when you were previously with Nancy and with Philip, you were led to believe that the world is unsafe, right? And you still carry that because you've held that belief for a very long time.
Right.
So when you do your everyday things that you're getting accustomed to now, that's in a new environment, there's some fear or some anxiety that's created.
Yes.
Right? And you express that in the way you have reported that you have some anxiety.
I just don't go out.
Right, you don't go out, you avoid the situation.
Right.
And so by continually not going out, you've created this as a habit. So you feel the fear and habitually you avoid it.
Yes.
Right? And so what part of this process is to help you process the traumatic experience. And by do that, we're exposing you to a situation in real life that will, the process will reduce your pain and increase your feelings of self-efficacy or competency or agency, that you feel like you can do those things.
It sounds like you may want me to be in a dangerous situation.
No, I see what you're saying, and that would definitely appear that way. But one of the things is you have Biscuit. Biscuit, we talk about to help you feel safe, right?
Yes.
So we're going to use him as a coach to when you go out in these situations that can help you feel safe. See, he knows his job to help you feel safe, right? So one of the things, when you think about going out in public now, what level, and you feel some anxiety, what level of anxiety would you say on a scale of 1 to 10?
10.
10.
I mean,
Right.
right. No way up there.
Right. So on a scale of 1 to 10, you're at the maximum.
Right.
And that, we call that a SUD, the subjective unit of discomfort. Okay. For anxiety. And from 0 to 10, thinking about going outside is a 10.
Yes.
What we want to do is we want to increase or decrease that level, that 10 to maybe a 5 or a 0 eventually. That wouldn't be something you can do right now. Okay?
Okay.
So the idea is, what in vivo means live, like in real life. Okay? So we had mentioned, so one of the things that you had mentioned is that you are afraid to go outside.
Yes.
Anywhere particular? just outside in general?
Well, it's not so much afraid to go outside, it's just what will happen once I get outside.
Okay.
Because there's always the media and the paparazzi, and I worry about my girls. I worry about them, people recognizing me
Mhm.
and rushing me
Mhm.
and they're being embarrassed and that kind of thing. There are things that I want to do. I mean, my girls are on the softball team and I
Mhm.
want to go to their games,
Right.
but I really can't risk that
Okay.
because if I go and I'm recognized, then the media will flock to
Sure.
the game. Or if one of the parents recognizes who I am, I don't want to cause them that embarrassment, you
Mhm.
know, about what happened to us. And they want to live normal lives.
Sure.
And I want them to have that. I didn't get that, but I want my girls to have it.
So out of all of those situations and scenarios that you just talked about, is there one in particular that we could just focus on for now?
Well, I guess we could try to focus on going to the games or something because I really would like to see them play. I want them to know that I'm supporting their new lives.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so, going from your house to the park, is that within walking distance?
It is. It's about 5 blocks.
Okay, so
from
maybe
the
about
house.
30 minutes or so?
Oh, I don't think it would take me 30 minutes to walk 5 blocks. It would be more like 10 minutes.
Okay. Okay, and that might work, but we'll see, we'll just see if this is something that can work. So my instructions for you in, to use this, exposure type of technique is that I would want you to go outside, right? You have the safe, so let me back up. From your house to the park where they play softball,
Mm-hmm.
what kind of things would you encounter in those 5 blocks that may be unsafe for you?
It depends on like if the media is posted outside my
Okay.
house.
Okay.
You know, if they're out there, I would have to go back in. I'd have to
Okay.
turn around
Okay.
because they would recognize me.
Okay.
And then I guess too, this would be after I got to the park and someone recognized me.
Okay.
That would be comfortable.
Well, are there things that you could do while in the park or to maybe hide your identity from the media?
I could wear maybe a hooded sweatshirt or
Okay.
something like that.
Is there anything else that you could do that you have, things that you have in your home? You are exposed to?
Sunglasses.
Sunglasses?
I have sunglasses.
Or maybe sunglasses and a hoodie, that you could get from your house to the park.
Right.
Right, okay, and then if you were able to do that and you took Biscuit with you, would that be something that you could do, if you knew that you were safe?
I could. As a matter of fact, I could walk Biscuit,
Mm-hmm.
and that would be some good exercise for him outside of the house.
Okay, so what I like is I'm gonna give you some instructions and you just need to follow my verbal, I'm gonna write it down for you as well, and my verbal and written instructions. So you can put your glasses on, your sunglasses, put your hoodie on, and I anticipate you're gonna feel nervous.
Okay.
Okay, so you're gonna do this several times, okay? And one of the things I want you to do is you're gonna go from your walk, from your home to the park with your hoodie and your sunglasses on, with Biscuit.
Ooh, I could try.
You can try, but Biscuit, remember your techniques you already learned. The breathing, calm,
Yes.
you can practice before you open the door,
Okay.
and then you can use Biscuit as your safe person or safe thing.
Okay.
Right? And Biscuit can be, the things that you find can be your safety, like your coach.
Okay.
So Biscuit's your coach and you follow Biscuit as you're going to the park, and then he can be your safety coach.
Okay.
Okay, so I want you to feel the anxiety and use your techniques on your way to the park and while you're at the park. Okay, and I want you to be able to stand or withhold the anxiety for at least 30 minutes.
Ooh.
You'll be okay. right?
That's a lot, that
That
seems
is
like
a long time. But you know, you have your safety coach, you have your calming. Would you be able to try it at least maybe once?
I can try it, I just can't promise that I'll be able to get all the way to the point, but I can try.
Okay, so that'll be your homework for this week,
Okay.
okay? Alright.
Hi, JC.
Hi,
It's good to see you. I'm glad you came back.
thanks, it's good to be here.
Why don't we start today by, talking about your homework assignment. Tell me about your homework assignment from last week.
Okay, well, it was interesting. I had biscuit, and I was getting ready to go. My daughter had a softball game at school that she wanted me to go to really, really bad, and I really wanted to be there. So I got Biscuit's leash on, and we got ready to go out the door, and I got a little anxious, so I had to sit back down. We did this a few times, and I worked on my breathing retraining that you taught me how to do and practice that. So I eventually got outside, and I was worried that paparazzi were going to follow me, and so I kept breathing, and I was worried that maybe some people who knew Philip were going to be there, and I kept breathing. We kind of backed up a little bit and headed towards home, but I kept going. And then I got anxious that people were going to notice I was my daughter's mom and would kind of put us together and kind of, that's the lady's daughter who got taken. So it took a lot, but I eventually got to her school and got to the game, and I stood in the back with Biscuit and watched for a little bit, but I left early before everybody left. But I got to see her play. She hit the ball.
Very good, very good. Well, tell me, how would you rate your experience, your success in that?
Well, the number was probably low at first because it took a lot to get out of the house, and I kept going back to the house. But I guess maybe like 6 or 7 because I got there, even though I left early. But I got there.
Well, I think a 6 or 7 is a great rate
Yeah.
for that. Oh yeah, no matter how many times you had to try and you had to go back, you persevered, and that you got there, you saw her play, which is what you wanted to do,
Mm-hmm.
and you were able to get back home safe.
Yeah, it's true.
So I think that's great. That's a really great start. You should be happy about that success.
I am.
Good.
I am.
Good. Well, I think you're doing so well on your homework assignments. I really do. I can tell the effort that you're putting forth. And I want us to go a little bit further, just push ourselves a little bit further, if that's okay.
Okay.
So that leads into your next homework assignment, which is going to be using your imagination and your memory to think about the tales and the events that happened to you. And you're going to feel the emotion of what happened at that time.
Okay.
And it will be difficult. I won't sugarcoat that for you. It'll be difficult. It'll be hard. You may become anxious. But we're going to use your breathing retraining, and we're going to assess where you are with your anxiety level, and hopefully you'll be able to regulate and gain control of those emotions.
Okay.
And through practice.
Okay.
And that's what this is all about, is just learning how to use techniques to practice with, so when you actually need them, you'll have them. Okay?
What if the memories get stuck in my head and they just stay there?
Well, what I expect is that from your paperwork and your inventory, you said that you've been trying to avoid the memories, right?
Yeah.
And what kind of things have you been trying to do to avoid them?
I don't go outside very much. I just walk Biscuit in the house.
Okay.
I don't go to my daughter's schools much at all, or any of their events. I see my mom. I don't watch TV a lot because there could be something about Philip. There could be something about me. I don't read magazines. I don't like the internet. 'Cause what if they're writing about me and saying all these things? Oh my God, I don't do that. That's not good. So I just kind of stay to myself and see my daughters before they go to school and after they get home and talk to Biscuit.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. Do you enjoy, or did you enjoy watching TV?
Yeah, it was some funny shows.
What about magazines? Did you enjoy that at some point?
Yeah, they did have nice clothes and whatnot. Good
And-
stories.
And I remember from your inventory, you said you've been cooped up for a long time and you enjoy being outside, right?
Yeah, a lot of fresh air, smelling the trees and the squirrels and the birds flying. Yeah.
Okay. So you've been avoiding those things. Has that helped at all with your memory?
Not really.
Right. So those things are pretty much stuck in your head right now anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. So I think that when you try to avoid bad memories instead of just confronting them head on, it has a tendency to have an opposite effect. And you end up thinking about it more, and then you just avoid more things that you might enjoy. And before you know it, your world gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And that's what we're in therapy for, to prevent, right?
Yeah, I never thought of it like that.
Right. So I think this exercise will be pretty helpful to you in such that instead of trying to avoid those bad memories, you will confront them head on. You'll recall them in vivid detail. And like I said, it won't be easy because you will experience those emotions that you felt. You'll experience, that anxiety that you feel when you get afraid, when you're fearful.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you will also be practicing how to regulate your anxiety, how to do those breathing retraining exercises, and that will be very useful to you later on if you're in a similar situation where you become anxious.
Okay.
And what I'm hoping is that by the time you learn to practice it on your own, you can control those, not only your emotions and how you think about those memories, but you'll be able to distinguish whether those memories are really harmful to you right now. Because where are you right now?
Sitting here with you and Biscuit
Right.
in the office.
And that's a safe place. So if you have a memory, it'll be from something that happened before, not something that's happening right now.
That's true.
Okay.
That's true.
So that's what we will work on. That's what we'll be practicing today.
Okay.
And I wanted to just tell you what to expect.
Okay.
So you won't be surprised about anything here. The first thing I'll do is I'll ask you to close your eyes.
Okay.
That how are you feeling about that?
Sometimes when I close my eyes, things just pop into my head about what happened. So sometimes it's just blank space, and sometimes it's memories and pictures and things. So yeah.
Okay. After you close your eyes, then I'll ask you to start talking about those memories in vivid detail.
Okay.
And you'll talk about not only what happened, but what you saw, how you felt, what you smelled, anything you heard. You'll kind of use your senses to be more descriptive about what you're experiencing. Okay? And like I said, as you're recalling that in your mind and you're talking about how you're feeling and what you're hearing and what your senses are picking up around you, you'll start to feel that fear, that anxiety, that dread, all those emotions that come along with the experience.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
But about every 10 minutes, I'm gonna check in with you and I'm gonna ask you how you're doing on your anxiety scale. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, then you can you can say that, and we'll stop and we'll do your breathing retraining. Okay? Once you get regulated, then we'll start again with the retelling. How does that sound?
Like a lot.
Okay. It will be overwhelming at first, but we're gonna practice it over and over until you get used to that and used to practicing those skills. Okay? And then we're gonna audio tape it. So once we get it audio taped, you can take it home with you and you can practice at home as well. Okay?